So it's goodbye to Topsham till July, we think. Just come off of Trout's Pontoon, and if I don't hit anything, Terry's up the front, put the fenders in, and we're off down the Ex on our way to Weymouth. So here we are, approaching Exmouth and the entrance to the Ex estuary. Let's hope I don't see this place again before July. If I do, something's probably gone wrong. Up there in the distance is Topsham. The town you can see right at the top of the estuary. As I'm saying, the Edwardian seafront at Exmouth, and here we have the big wide blue yonder. A very nasty sandbank, whole sand. We're out now with the sail up, not a lot of wind. But we're motor sailing with just the mainsail up, out heading for Portland, which is the best part of 7 to 8 hours away. So it's a fairly long trip across Lyme Bay. Couldn't ask for nicer weather in terms of blue sky. So we're both reasonably happy and cheerful at the moment. And so we'll give you a wave. Approaching Portland Bill, you can see the red and white lighthouse on the point there. Portland has a notorious race south of it. We are using the inner passage, which only gives you some relatively smooth water for about 250 metres, perhaps quarter of a mile max from the point. We can see the waves further out breaking. And I think it'll get quite rough here actually before we get round. But we have approached it exactly the right time. Tide's now slackening to be the least tide of the cycle. And once you get round, it's fine. It's just the little bit as you're approaching. Really. The wind's very light, which helps. So we're approaching the worst bit now. It gets a bit rough for a little while. You can see how close we are to the headland. This is filmed on the GoPro, so it's a fixed camera, so I can't pan it right. But if you looked out to the right, there's loads of big breaking waves. And we've got this relatively calm piece coming round the tip of Portland, the Isle of Portland. And then we're going to turn, as well where we are now at this moment, starting to turn left and up into Weymouth Bay. And that's it, and then we're through into much smoother water. Those of you sailors watching, you will notice that the back of the mainsail is not correctly down on the boom. We did notice because the boom was hitting us on the head, and there's a slider that slides on the boom that had broken at this point. That I didn't realise actually until later on when we got back into harbour, and now I can see from this exactly how much the boom had dropped.
just round in Portland Bill. Thursday the 10th, 25.
Hi, here we are in Weymouth. Absolutely glorious day. Got here last night about 6 o'clock. Lovely harbour, Weymouth. It's kind of still quite old-fashioned. There is a marina, but you don't have to go in it. So you can come alongside the quay here, town quay. Pretty much as expensive as a marina, to be fair, but nice facilities. And we are off to Yarmouth for our second trip. We're leaving at about 1 o'clock. We won't get to Yarmouth till after dark, but that's what the tides do to you. But yeah, Weymouth's a lovely little place. So there's probably not going to be much sailing. I think it'll be a lot of engine today. There's very little wind at the moment, but we'll see how it goes. So we had a good sail yesterday, and partly motor, partly sail from Exmouth to Weymouth. Yeah, so Yarmouth tomorrow, next day Gosport, and then we'll start planning for getting to Dover. So no disasters yet, just prepared a curry for later on. Probably have that on the go because we're not due in till about 9 o'clock, so we'll probably eat as we approach the Isle of Wight. Anyway, I'll try and get some more footage as we go across as soon as there's something to see. Here we have St Albans Head, 3 hours outside of Weymouth. And if you go to the right of that headland and up into all that mist, you end up in Swanage Pool. We're right, it's got a big ledge here which can cut the sea up quite rough, though it's very, very calm today. There's a yellow buoy in front of us which marks the end of the ledge. Actually, it marks a range for the Royal Navy, but it's put at the end of the ledge, so that's why we've come out to it. And in a minute we'll change a course for the Isle of Wight. We're motoring at the moment. We have put the sail up in the hope that as we change course we might get a bit of help from the sail, but it's pretty calm, to be honest. A few other boats out with us. An amazing day for April, it's unbelievable. Lovely evening. Portland just disappearing behind St Albans Head there. And yes, still motoring. And then round here, Old Harry Rocks. And then Bournemouth in the background. Pool. Whether it's visible on camera, there's the Isle of Wight. So here we are, coming in the Needles Channel. Needles Lighthouse just there. Terry's trying to keep it on the straight and narrow despite the tide rushing out, or sorry, rushing in. It's actually rushing across us more than in. Thought we weren't going to get in till dark, but we're going to be in about the same time as the sun sets. The sun's going to set in about an hour's time. So here we are, Isle of Wight, second day done. Sunset over Hurst Castle, and we're on our way to Lymington because they didn't have any pontoons in Yarmouth. Very calm night in the Solent. There's the Isle of Wight and there's Yarmouth over there, but they didn't have any space for us even in April.
Saturday the 12th of April. We left Livingston Marina this morning. Past Cows, now on the final leg to Portsmouth from Gosport. Wind isn't changed a lot, still southeasterly, about 10 knots.
cows on our way to Gosport, and you tend to meet some rather big beasts up here. This is a container ship just coming in, and in a minute it's going to do a 90-degree bend, or actually more than 90 degrees to go up Southampton water. And there's police sirens going off trying to get all the boats out of the channel in front of it. You wouldn't want to be in the way of that beast. So we've reached Portsmouth. There's the famous Spinnaker Tower in the front of us. Portsmouth Old Town on our right. HMS Dolphin, the old submarine school, on the left. The old, I think, Napoleonic walls there. Narrow channel here. We've got to keep to the left quite a lot. That we haven't met any big ships coming down, but that's the rules, and they've got the King's Harbour Master enforce them. There's HMS Warrior, and we're going up to the marina at the old Royal Clarence Yard. You can see there Queen, I actually think that's the Prince of Wales aircraft carrier. Hasler Marina on our left. So here we are at Gosport, early morning, just waiting to head off for Eastbourne. In about 10 minutes we're at a place called Portsmouth Offshore Group, which is a civil service marina, part of the Royal Clarence Yard. You can see over there, used to be naval, now it's all flats, but the Navy is still here, because there is one of our aircraft carriers, our very expensive aircraft carriers, with wedding marquees on it. Excellent. So we're leaving Portsmouth, and we've done that now. We're out in the Solent. Interestingly, there's lots of faults. There's lots of stuff man-made around the Solent, as well as natural hazards, and one of them is First World War, I believe, submarine barrier, which was made out of very big concrete blocks. It runs all the way down to a fort. And from the Isle of Wight it came out as well, but they demolished the one from the Isle of Wight, so that's gone. But the one on the mainland side they left, which is a bit of a navigation hazard. However, there is a gateway through it they did create, here, just behind me here. Getting the camera right. Let me do it from a different shot. So that's looking along, I think over here is Langston Harbour, the entrance to, with that lighthouse or pillar on the post. Then it'll go all the way along the coast to Chichester. Helmsman's Terry is having a moan because he's heading out front and there's nothing to head for. So he's having to manage by doing it on a compass, which is very annoying, I think. That will change later on. So 9 hours later, we are still sailing. The sky is blue, it's been blue and grey on and off. And we're just off New Haven over there, but we've got quite a nice view along our the Seven Sisters along to Beachy Head. Under the sail there. Still heading for Sovereign Harbour near Eastbourne. But here, this might be a better view from this side. There we go, Beachy Head. You might be able to just spot the lighthouse there in the Beachy Head. Highest chalk cliff on the south coast. We are about 2.5 hours from Sovereign Harbour and our supper. Terry is pretending to steer, but he's not, he's actually filming. So George is steering, George being our autopilot. Here we are, Beachy Head, just turned the corner. It's a bit sporty out here today, blowing probably something in the region of 23-24 knots of wind. And some quite big waves, just like that. And now I need to get Terry a sweep. So here we are, Monday morning now, Monday the 14th of April. We're in Sovereign Harbour, which is just up the road from Eastbourne. A very much man-made harbour, full of modern tower blocks or flats and lots of boats. We have to lock in and out here. In fact, there's a fishing boat just there waiting for the lock. You see the traffic lights waiting for the lock to open. So we're hoping to go out in about 15 minutes. And we're off to Dover today. And then after that we got a bit of a more gentle, because we just got to Ramsgate, which is only 15 miles the next day. So Terry, do you want me to get you some sun cream? Because you're looking a bit red. I'll get you some stuff, yeah, I ought to put some on as well. Yeah, another lovely day. There's Beachy Head now receding, and Eastbourne with it. Left Sovereign Harbour at 7:50 this morning, heading for Dover. It's a nicer day today, I would say. At the moment anyway, it's a much more gentle breeze rather than yesterday's. Got up to about 25 knots, I think, towards the end. That was getting a bit sporty. But anyway, we had a bit of a drama last night, trying to get the Genoa down, but we managed it in the end. And we're sailing home now. Genoa's still in one piece, I'm pleased to say, because it was flopping horribly yesterday on the Beachy Head. Yeah, so we got about 8 to 9 hours in front of us, but we're travelling above our needed cruising speed, so hoping to get to Dover about a bit earlier than we did to Sovereign Harbour yesterday, perhaps about 6 o'clock with a bit of luck. So we've got a bit of water and all, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow, but the general plan is to go kind of not super early, but sometime after breakfast, and do the quick hop about 3 hours up to Ramsgate. So we'll hopefully have a decent break there, at least an afternoon and overnight, and then we'll look at the weather forecast to see when the best time is for the challenging crossing the Thames estuary. Right. I'm having to voice over this section of video because the wind in the microphone was so bad on the original recording, you couldn't really hear my voice at all. This is Dungeness, big headland between Eastbourne and Dover. Interesting place, big nuclear power station there on the left, an old lighthouse, black one, and then the more modern lighthouse, the black and white one. It's on a big shingle headland sticking out into the English Channel. Has not a model railway, but a touristy small railway that runs all the way down to the bottom there. It's a big nature reserve, very, very flat, as you can see, fairly featureless. A lot of interesting flora and fauna, I believe, despite the man-made bits. So we are rounding, this is our last headland before we get to Dover, where this video submission on YouTube will finish, and we'll do and so we make it to Dover. Ferries coming through the eastern entrance in Dover Harbour. We are now safely inside, looking forward to going for a pint, all tied up in the new very posh marina at Dover. And tomorrow we'll be off to Ramsgate, 3 hours, where we're expecting to be holed up for some rather nasty weather to blow through before we cross the Thames estuary. Hope to see you again soon.